Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you how to paint a Stargazer lily. So let's do it. Okay, so to start, I'm just going to go through my materials. First, I have my Arches watercolor paper. I have my Winsor Newton Cotman watercolors, and I have my Princeton snap brushes. I have a size 12 and a size 4 round brush, and my paper towel and my water. Okay, so we're gonna be doing a Stargazer lily, which I haven't really had a lot of experience with. So we're gonna see how this goes. But let's do it. All right, so first we're gonna start off with a really light wash of pink, which I already kind of have here. We're gonna do a really light wash. And we're just gonna create, is this the right way? Yes, it is. Sorry. A petal going this way, so it's big and fat, and then it kind of goes to a point, but usually the points are kind of, they droop down, so you'll only see the big part, right? So a petal like that, and then another one going this way. So it doesn't really go to a point, it kind of goes to like a little curve there because the point is underneath. This is already starting to dry. Okay, so make sure it's wet and it stays wet. Then I'm gonna do another one going this way, leaving some white space in the middle, so you're not gonna connect them yet. Okay. All right, then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your pink, a lot more like a bright pink, and you're just going to draw a line kind of down the middle, and you're gonna let it bleed out like that. So curved kind of line and let it bleed out, because this flower is pretty dark down the center of the petals, and then it's really light towards the edges of the petals. So you're gonna let the watercolor bleed. So you gotta make sure that the first layer, that the really light pink, is wet. Not too wet where the paint's gonna go everywhere, but you wanna make sure it's wet, that it bleeds and blends nicely like this, okay? Okay. Like that. Okay? Now I'm just gonna do 3 more petals behind these petals, and I'm gonna let those dry just a bit. So again, your really light wash, but I don't wanna touch these petals. So I'm just gonna kind of create a V shape, making sure there's a little bit of that white space, and then creating those petals behind. Okay, so then you're gonna continue doing it on this side. Maybe you can even show the curve underneath. And then this one, same thing, leaving that white space in between the petals. And then you're gonna do the same thing, taking your pink and going right down the center. And my son is waking up. Oh no, stay asleep. He's been whining like crazy in his sleep. Okay. Like that. Okay, now as you may see already, these are started to dry and they're kind of just blending, a nice soft blend out. Now I'm just gonna take my smaller brush and I'm gonna go back over it with my dark, because you can actually see a line in these Stargazer lilies. So I'm just gonna again create a line, and it's gonna bleed a little bit, but because it's not as wet as the first time, It's going to be a bit more of a sharper line, but it's still going to bleed a bit because it's not completely dry. Just taking my dark pink again, like that. Just creating that line down the middle. And if yours ends up being completely dry, that's okay too, because there is a line that goes right down the middle. Now, what I'm also gonna do is that in the middle of this flower, it is kind of like a bright green. But if we put bright green on top of this pink right now, it's gonna kind of make a brownish color. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my paper towel edge and I'm just gonna create some lines. You can even make sure it's with a paper towel because they're thicker. So I'm just going to take my paper towel like this, create a line, and I'm just going to mop up some of that paint. This is where not the stems, the middle kind of bit of the flower is going to come out. So see those little white lines? When it's dry, it's going to allow for more green to shine through, like that. Okay, it doesn't have to be completely gone, but your paint that was just down that I just mopped up has to be a little bit wet for that to work. So that's why it's also important to get decent paper, just because it works a lot better on keeping your paper wet for a lot longer. Okay, so now I'm just going to do the same thing to those petals underneath with the darker color. Creating that line down the middle. Like that. Okay. And then I am going to take a bit of my green and a bit of my yellow, because the middle of this is pretty light and bright. So I'm just going to fill in some of that and let it bleed a little bit into some of the pink if it's still wet. But I'm just gonna tap some of that green in the middle there. Okay. Now, if you keep going over it over and over again, the two colors are gonna mix and it's gonna turn a bit brown. So I suggest you just tap a bit of the color and then leave it. And then we're gonna allow this part to completely dry. Okay, now that it's completely dry, I'm gonna take my bright yellowy green color again, and I'm going to create the middle of the flower where we took up that paint. So right there, I'm gonna apply the green lines there. So it looks like those little bits that come out in the middle. I really don't know the terms for these things. I probably should. Like that. And then the edge of those are kind of like this darky, pinky, red-ish, brownish. So I'm just gonna create that color and just gonna pretend there's one there, like that. Okay, and then the Stargazer lily also has these really nice dots all over it. So I'm gonna take that same color, but I'm gonna make it a bit darker. So brown and black and a bit of red, maybe even a little bit of pink in there. And I'm just gonna create these little flecks. Actually, I'm gonna put some of those on there too. Going down the middle of these lily petals. Which really kind of brings it to life. You could just use a dark pink too if you want. For the ones in the middle, I'm just going to use this dark brownish color. Like that. I might actually go in with a bit of a darker green towards the middle and just kind of create a bit of contrast where the green is. Okay, and then I'm going to take my pink again and I'm just going to create more of those little dots towards the outer bits of the side of the petals. like that. Not too many. And there you go. So there is the actual flower, and you can create the leaves behind it if you like. You can take your green color and you can add some greenery in between these petals. Sorry, my green is actually, there was a bunch of pink. My water's dirty right now, which again, you should probably change. Good artists change their water. I, however, am working on a time limit and hoping my son does not wake up. So I am showing you some bad habits. You probably should change your water because the pink is mixing with the green, which is making it a little bit of brown. But for you, change the water. Me, I gotta just keep on plugging along here. I'm gonna add a bit of darker green to the inner part here. And I'm gonna add actually like a bud that hasn't bloomed yet. There we go. Just do whatever look and feels best to you. Okay? And there you go. There is your Stargazer lily. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I really hope you liked it and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on Instagram for more. Have a great day, guys. Bye.